Soul challengers Quanell X and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Has been identified by police as an FSU student by the name of Phoenix Eichner. I know it's a big school. Did you happen to know him?
I had spent my first 2 years at Tallahassee, now called Tallahassee State College, but we called it TCC. And I was the president of a political talk group we called the Political Roundtable, and he joined the club when I was at TCC. Basically our only rule was no Nazis. Colloquially speaking, and he espoused so much white supremacist rhetoric and far-right rhetoric as well, to the point where we had to exercise that rule. I also know he was a member of the TCC Turning Point chapter, and since TCC, I have seen him in passing a couple times. Today, I was talking to a friend who had talked to him yesterday, or 2 days ago, pardon me, and he was talking about how he wasn't ready for exams.
So what went through your mind, Reed, when you heard that police had identified the suspected shooter in this instance as this individual who you had known for a couple of years?
Initially, pure, unadulterated anger. To think that someone I knew had essentially made me a statistic. To think that, I had conversations with him at a normal level and, person to person. And for it to turn into this, I don't know why he would have done something like this. I don't know where it would have come from.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
All right, Quanell, that was a former classmate of Phoenix Eichner, who was the mass shooter who claimed two lives and injured 6 other people at Florida State University. He was describing the political leanings of Phoenix Eichner, which appear to have been a supporter of Hitler's Third Reich and some far-right organizations like Turning Point USA. What we didn't hear from this former, roundtable member was any rationale or justification. What we haven't heard from America is anyone saying this was okay, this was why this happened. Everyone is universally condemning it. And it's markedly different from our yesterday conversation about the press conference of the Anthony family, where we were said the rain contributed to the murder, then everything contributed to the murder. You said bullying.
But we should not compare this case with the Anthony family at all.
I'm not.
Two separate cases.
Instead, what I'm comparing
night and day,
is the response of America, which is we hear this guy's a scumbag,
we haven't yet gauged the entire
racist
response of America. There are many white supremacist groups, in particular like the white supremacist organization that led the march in Frisco, would try to perhaps justify this man and claim he's an angel. Mr. Phoenix Hitler, Eichner, he is Hitler because he had the profile picture of Adolf Hitler as his gaming profile. Everybody says how much hateful rhetoric, and this man had an absolute white supremacist theology. Everybody admits to that. This what outrages me, though. Mother and father, both, stepmother and father, both police officers. Why would you have a kid in your home that you know is in love with Adolf Hitler and hate groups, and you got him around guns and weapons in your home? To go a step further, his stepmother, the police woman, who knew about this boy's hateful theology and love with hate groups and Adolf Hitler's Third Reich organizations and the death squads of Adolf Hitler, why would she teach him how to shoot a gun? She took him to teaching training sessions to teach him how to use a weapon. She should be locked up as a co-conspirator and complicit in the shootings and killings of those 2 students at FSU. How in the hell could cops know this boy's theology, help him learn how to shoot a weapon? This doesn't make any sense to me, Charles.
Well, one, it sounds like Mr. Eichner was an adult. He wasn't a child. I haven't seen any reporting that both the parents were active peace officers. It was just the stepmother. I haven't seen any reporting that she taught him how to shoot and bear any responsibility. But I find it unique that you want this person who it does not seem like engaged in any way to materially help or support.
There you go right there. The stepmother taught this boy how to shoot. Right here. She taught him how to shoot right here.
Practiced shooting with him at the range.
Now stop right there. This is a policewoman practicing shooting with him at the range. She's teaching him how to shoot. Why would you go to the range with a young man that is in love with Adolf Hitler, and he's in love with right-wing hate groups, and you're a police officer?
One, maybe she wasn't aware. You're assuming
golly, Charles, come on now, brother.
But two, you are literally saying that it should be okay to stab someone in the heart if they shove you, but shouldn't have any criminal consequence. No prison for Carmelo Anthony. That was yesterday. Today you're saying not only should monsters that do monstrous things like Phoenix Agner, absolutely. If he wasn't dead, he should be dying in prison. He's just a complete scumbag. No one should defend him. And I'm not hearing anyone defend him. Where I'm seeing millions of people defending Carmelo Anthony, right?
You're mixing apples and artichokes. And Carmelo Anthony is going to come down to self-defense. Was he defending his life under threat? Did he believe that his life and physical protection was under threat?
Not life.
But does he believe that physically he was under threat? Charles, this case is very alarming to me. This boy was kicked out of a high school organization, the principal said, because he had so much white supremacist rhetoric and beliefs.
It was a college classmate.
No. The school said they kicked him out, Charles. So why in the hell would the parents? You mean tell me his stepmama, the police officer, did not know he was kicked out of a school organization because of all those white supremacist beliefs?
We don't have any idea.
You're going to tell me she did not know that his profile picture was of Adolf Hitler?
But why should she?
And then she take him to a gun range and show him how to shoot?
Why do you think she should go to prison for that?
I'm going to tell you why. Because there have been other cases in America where mass shooters, parents have been indicted for allowing the child or the young person to gain access to their firearms. Also, remember the mass shooting in this country where the young boy had been caught taking a gun to school, and yet the parent went and bought him a gun for his birthday? How in the hell is this cop not just as complicit when you got a young man who's advocating his love for Adolf Hitler publicly online, profile picture Adolf Hitler, and he's speaking about how much he was in love with the death squad, the personal security team of Adolf Hitler, and was kicked out of school, out of a school group for these same hate teachings and hate beliefs? Then she take him to a gun range and teach him how to shoot? She should be locked up too.
Well, let me explain the difference, right? The difference between the other examples, you're talking about the Michigan, I think, parents, and I mean, there's been a number of parents that have it, not enough by any means, but a number of parents, is they are giving unlawful access to juveniles. They're allowing guns not to be secured, and juveniles have got those guns and done horrible things. You had, was it
well, his father's duty weapon was found at the scene. His father's duty weapon was one of the weapons the young man had.
I have not seen that reporting, but if either way, this is an adult who had a legal right to have firearms, who used a firearm. Now, if the parents are somehow involved in a conspiracy with him to go kill people, I don't think we've seen any evidence of that. Now, you're a former cop,
right? If you had a son, God forbid, in your home, public talking about how you're in love with Adolf Hitler, in love with all these white-ring hate militia groups,
horrible,
and talk about how he loved the death squads, are you going to take him to the gun range with you and show him how to shoot?
I'm going to get him institutionalized.
You damn right.
I'm not saying.
So how could that cop, this female cop and the daddy cop, not be complicit in this? If you're going to hold other parents accountable for the mass shootings of their children and put them in jail, these folks just as complicit, if not more.
Because there are specific laws that say if you have a firearm in your home, a child gets it and does something horrible with it, that are downstream from all the cases of accidental shootings, but they apply to intentional shootings as well. If you have that happen, then you have a criminal responsibility, a criminal culpability for allowing someone that cannot have access to access. Just like if you're engaged in straw man purchases, which means you go to a gun store and buy a gun to give to a felon or some other person that cannot lawfully have the gun, that's also a crime. And that'll have the feds, the ATF, knocking on your door and putting handcuffs on you. We don't have any evidence any of that occurred in this situation.
But wait a minute. There's a federal law in Texas that says if you have reason to, not Texas. Right. There's a federal law in this country that says if you have reason to believe that a member of your family in the home where you reside is suffering from mental health problems, you are not supposed to give them access to your firearms.
Okay.
Now, you mean to tell me you got a young man with his profile picture of Adolf Hitler bragging about how he's in love with the death squads that led and ran the concentration camps. You gonna give him access to your duty weapon and take him to a gun range and show him how to shoot? How in the hell you gonna tell me as a cop you don't know he's mentally insane?
Well, again, I find it unique that you are arguing that, because I'll agree that I think all forms of race bigotry and racism are absolutely disgusting, and the people that have it are either really stupid or just can't formulate real thoughts, and that's individual based and has nothing to do with skin color. But I find it incredibly unique that someone who routinely condemns the white race, right?
Not the white race, the racists of the white race, not the white race.
Well, you say y'all a whole lot and try to refer to everything
Because you
that a white guy...
sympathizing with this shooter.
I'm not
Do you
sympathizing
realize
with the
you
shooter.
are
Why are
showing
you
more
doing
sympathy to this man than Carmelo Anthony?
That's absolutely not true.
You ain't called him
I'm
a scumbag yet.
Oh, no, this guy's a monster.
But you,
I
no,
led
but
with
you
calling
didn't
him a
let,
monster.
but you didn't let,
yeah,
he's a
I did.
scumbag murderer.
No, hey, look, I'm glad he did.
So
Good job,
what about
whoever
the cop?
shot and killed him.
What about the cop? They not scumbags in this case?
The cops in
The
this
stepmother
case?
and father, they not scumbags?
Oh, it sounds like they, usually the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
But
right?
they cops, so we don't want to call them scumbags.
Oh, no, it sounds like I don't have enough evidence. I don't know which parent
What?
raised him. I don't know if they're responsible.
Charles, come on, man.
Right? They haven't made any public statements.
Charles, are you
I'm
serious?
not going to just condemn someone.
So the stepmama
But
who
typically,
taught him how to
I will
shoot
tell you,
at the gun range,
I will
she no damn
typically-
scumbag.
I will tell you, typically scumbags raise scumbags, right? I don't know enough about Anthony's parents to call them scumbags. I think they're doing a bad job.
But wait a
enabling
minute,
him.
though.
But I think Anthony's
wait a minute,
scumbag,
though.
and I think this Phoenix Eigner is a
Metcalf,
scumbag.
Mr. Metcalf, he ain't a scumbag either.
Absolutely not.
He was charged with raping somebody in 2011.
Okay, again, I think
You
this-
condemn
I
P.
think-
Diddy
I think-
as being a scumbag
I think-
and a pathetic human being,
I
and he
think
ain't been found
the
guilty of
last
nothing
2
yet.
weeks where you have condemned Hunter Metcalf, the twin brother that is not dead, and Jeff Metcalf, the father, and the mother, and the Metcalf family, I think it's despicable.
But Charles,
what
you
I'm
condemn
saying to
some
you-
black people who have not been convicted,
No, I condemn,
just charged with a crime.
I condemn people when I feel like I have read enough about it that I am aware that they are absolutely culpable. With Diddy, you love to bring him up.
He's not guilty yet.
I saw a video of him squat down over Cassie, this delicate, beautiful
A sick
woman,
video.
and punch her in the face. So I think he's a scumbag, right? Anthony admitted, hey,
That he admitted
pushed me,
self-defense.
He pushed me.
He
and I
said it was
stabbed him in the
self-defense.
heart.
He said from day
And
one,
just
from
because
step
you
one, it was
claim-
self-defense.
just because you
I was
claim it-
protecting myself.
From what? From
Charles,
what?
From
Tell
an
me-
assault.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
assaulted,
so,
Charles.
So you believe
You
that
can,
in
so
America,
do you admit
that in Texas
one
you
second,
can kill someone?
Do you admit that Carmelo Anthony was the victim of an assault?
Well, I don't know for sure.
Oh,
but
my
I
God, Charles.
I definitely think
Come
it's a
on,
possibility.
man. Charles.
But do you admit
Really,
that
Charles?
under Section 932 of the Texas Penal Code, it expressly lists when you can use deadly force in self-defense. It lists a bunch of horrifying crimes. Simple assault is not one of them.
That's not
And
true.
it- no, it
if
is
you
absolutely true.
believe
And
that
it-
your
it-
life
like,
is under
if
threat
you have a
and that you have been the
reasonable
victim of an assault,
that you
can use deadly force to protect
you
yourself,
keep
Charles.
making up stuff.
No,
If
I can give you cases.
Okay, again, if you have to have a reasonable belief that someone is going to kill you or kill someone else.
So did Joe
and
Horn
nothing-
have that belief in Pasadena?
Well, again,
When Joe Horn took a gun and
me-
shot 2 men in the
let me-
back
let
who
me-
were not threatening him
well-
and killed him, and a Texas jury said justifiable homicide.
Okay,
He was not threatened in
again,
any kind of
it
way.
was a grand jury that no-billed him. And again, there's 2 parts of Section 932. There's a
Now we're gonna talk
list
about the
of
second
crimes,
part.
and we're talking about burglary.
See, now when it's
And
white
they were
folks, we
committing-
talk about the second
You had
part.
2 people committing a
A
burglary.
crime.
Okay?
Mr.
No.
Metcalf committed a crime
But-
when he put his
but
hands on
there is
Carmelo
a
Anthony.
list of crimes, and you know what's not on that list? Simple assault. Burglary, you can get Texas, someone's burglarizing your home, you get to kill
But
them.
if you're black, you got a whole little something.
Hey, besties!
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time!
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
The dashcam video starts as an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper first encounters the suspect, Deshaun Leith, standing on the side of the Ohio Turnpike after crashing his car in Springfield Township.
Come on, buddy. Step away.
The trooper tries getting him away from traffic, but Leith starts battling back. This is the view from the trooper's body camera.
Get hurt. This floor, bow down. Don't touch me, you're gonna die. Next time you touch me, you're gonna die. Next time you touch me, you're gonna die.
Leith runs away, only to turn around and run back toward the trooper, who then attempts to use a stun gun.
Hey, you gotta go down. You ain't That's Jesus.
As you can see, the stun gun appears to have little effect, and another fight breaks out. The video shows punches being exchanged, and at one point, Leith gets the trooper on the ground. He eventually takes off in the cruiser.
And then you start the car, go.
Inside the car, you can hear Leith talking to himself for about 11 minutes before this dramatic crash in North Sewickley Township, Beaver County. After this crash, Pennsylvania State Police say an altercation broke out when troopers approached the vehicle, leading them to use deadly force.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
You know, Charles, I really, really hate this story because when you look at the video of this altercation between this young African-American young man and the police officer, there was obviously some kind of mental health breakdown taking place with this young man. It says he had been in a traffic accident early before the police officer approached him on the side of the freeway. And from the entire video, it was my opinion that there was some type of psychological breakdown, mental health issue going on there. But I commend the officer. I rarely don't do this, but I commend that cop because legally he would have been justified under the law of using deadly force on him way before it ever took place with other officers responding to a call for assistance and help. When he stole the car and flipped it over, he's in the car for 11 minutes talking to himself. There's obviously a real mental health situation going on there. I can't speak about those other cops and what they did in responding, but to the one cop who tased him and had him swinging on him and threatening his life and fighting with him on the ground, the fact that he never took out his duty revolver and used deadly force, I appreciate that officer. And I hate that you had to go through that. And I really pray for that officer. And I pray for that young man who lost his life and his family. But I believe there was a mental health breakdown there. But that cop, he showed a great deal of restraint.
So I don't think Deshaun Leith is a young man. He has a friend, a 60-year-old Nathaniel Frazier, a community activist, who gave quite a soliloquy about Deshaun Leith's working with youth and not wanting this moment to define his life. And maybe it was. Maybe he did have some sort of mental health breakdown. Maybe it was drug use that led to a paranoid schizophrenic incident. We don't have any idea. But when he went after the officer, do you think the officer would have been justified in shooting him while
That's not what I said.
No, I'm asking you.
Once he went after the officer, and was threatening to kill the officers. And if you touch me, I'm going to kill you. More than once, they would kill him. Then when he put the taser on him because he had to, because he was aggressively coming toward him, the taser was not working for some reason. And then when he wrestles the officer to the ground and is physically fighting with the cop, had he took out the weapon and used it, then a grand jury would have cleared him and called it justifiable homicide. Charles, that cop showed a great deal of restraint, even when he ran away. Remember, when he ran away, got up and ran away from him, he wasn't shooting at him. He called him for backup to get assistance and get help. So even that police officer, I believe, could tell that there was some type of mental health crisis taking place with this young man at that point.
See,
it's tragic.
I would disagree. From a policing perspective, when I watched the Mr. Leith run away from the trooper, and then the trooper turns his back on him and starts talking on his radio, which is what allowed Leith to come up behind him very quick. I think that this was a huge mistake made by the trooper, right? He turned his back to a guy clearly having some psychopathic episode. When allowing Leith to get away, steal the car, drive it and wreck it, he could have very easily killed some other motorist on the highway. I think that the trooper did a very bad job and underreacted. And he probably underreacted because of the fear now in law enforcement that if you use deadly force against an unarmed man, no matter how horrible their behavior is, no matter how threatening their behavior is, that you could be looking at a murder charge. I think later in this week we'll be talking about the Grand Rapids,
or could
Michigan
it be
case.
that cop could tell, based on his experience as an officer, that this was a young man obviously having a mental health breakdown, suffering a mental health crisis?
What if he
could it be just that reason was the motivation why he didn't use deadly force?
When he sold that police car and drove it crazily, we saw the accident. He could have very easily killed an entire family of white people, black people, brown people, whatever kind of people, just regular citizens. The officer lost control of this situation and did not use the force necessary to protect other people.
So what was the force that was necessary?
Well, I think there he should have pepper sprayed him from the jump. I think from a policing perspective, over-reliance on tasers, not being willing to use
So you think he should have used his duty revolver and shot him?
No, I don't think he should have used it.
So what are you saying here then?
I think he lost control of the situation. I think by turning his back on him, he allowed him to stick up on him.
That was a bad move.
I think it was a horrible example of policing, and I think it was a crazy guy. But we both agree that he shouldn't have shot him.
But
you're
Charles,
applauding him for not shooting him. But you're also saying
let me tell you what I'm applauding.
Anthony could shoot somebody for shoving
Let me tell you
him.
what I'm applauding, Charles. Too many people who have had loved ones who are having mental health breakdowns or mental health crisis.
Right.
They call 911, and the police show back up. The police show up, and when they show up, they don't talk the man down. They don't call for assistance of a mental health therapist, a counselor, or a crisis intervention specialist to come and assist them like department policy is written for many of them. They use deadly force on the spot, and the family was not calling you to kill the loved ones suffering a mental health breakdown. They were calling for some type of assistance to contain the situation.
I think officers need to
We just witnessed one.
But that's not what happened
We just
here.
witnessed one where a gentleman was standing behind the gate, and he was having a mental health breakdown. The family called for assistance. The cops walk up to the gate and shoot him across the gate.
But again, what happened here, you have Leith steal a police car, wreck it, then have an encounter with a law enforcement officer, steal another police car, and then get shot dead. In the immediate aftermath of this, before all the body cams, he was a community activist and they murdered him.
So you're saying that they should have shot him sooner?
Hey, I think we should have done whatever needed to be done to protect the other citizens of Ohio and Pennsylvania.
Well, on Fox Faceoff, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Faceoff.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Faceoff. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late-night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.
Hey, besties.
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
Like it's a spiritual moment.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late-night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. love, your mind.
It's time for today's Face-Off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Tragic incident. Our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
We just watched a video of Carmelo Anthony's mom. Her and her family went public with Carmelo this past weekend. And they wanted to publicly set the record straight about several things that were being publicly put out there about the family that were not true. And she was really breaking down because she is the mother of more than one child. Carmelo Anthony is one of her children, but she has other children also. And they have been receiving tons of death threats, not just aimed at Carmelo Anthony, but aimed at the entire family. Several of the death threats were detailing about what they would do to the other children and the mom and father of Carmelo Anthony. And she was upset and asking for people to not rush to judgment, to let the courts and police do their job. But there were so many lies being told about her and her family that she wanted to set the record straight. Lies about the GoFundMe page or whatever money was raised on another network site.
I think Go Send Go or something.
Right.
Give Send Go.
And that CEO of that company recently came forward and admitted not a single penny has been given to the Carmelo Anthony's family. So they didn't use the money to post bond. They didn't use any of that money that was raised to buy a luxury vehicle that was being lied and said that they did. They did not use the money to buy a $900,000 house. That was a lie. They were still living in the same home that they've been leasing for the past 2 years. And the house is about $400,000, not $900,000. So all of the lies are being put out there by white ring groups and racist people in particular, trying to make it look as though the money that was raised was enabling the family to live a rich lifestyle, which was not the truth. The mother wanted to clarify those things. But I will say this, to those bigots and racists that are threatening the lives of other children who have nothing to do with this, threatening the lives of a mother and her family who were not involved in any of this, leave the family alone. Both sides, for Carmelo Anthony and against him, we should allow the system to do its job at this point. He's been charged. The judge has lowered the bond, which the judge, in my opinion, was right in doing. But at the end of the day, this case will be tried in a courtroom, and it won't be public opinion that determines the outcome in this case.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the bond issue at the end, and I will tell you I disagree. I think the standard murder bond in Collin County, Texas is $1 million, and that it was lowered inappropriately based on legal arguments that they lacked the money available to post the bond and other allegations that I think would have fallen on deaf ears in other courtrooms in Collin County. But I do agree, and although we haven't discussed it, I think the attacks on the African-American former prosecutor turned judge are completely unfair. We do have a more robust right to bond in Texas, but we do have a three-pronged analysis. We have the Dominique Alexander, I think we're going to hear from him in a little bit, but he was actually criticizing Frisco ISD for expelling Carmelo Anthony, as if expelling someone that murders someone else on campus isn't the appropriate thing to do. But those comments were made, and the comments by the mother were made at a press conference set up by the Anthony family seeking attention. Right? In fact, the father of Metcalf, who I believe you mentioned something about maybe having a criminal charge in the past or something, and there's been all these derogatory things said. He showed up. He showed up as the representative of his dead son. He was asked to leave, and then their representative chastised on the microphone the father for appearing. But what happened was he went somewhere he was legally allowed to be, but probably shouldn't have been. And then he was asked to leave, and he left. And he managed to do that without stabbing or murdering anybody. That was Metcalf's father. It sounds markedly similar to what happened between Metcalf and Anthony in the first place, which was he went somewhere that he could probably legally go, but he shouldn't have been.
Why?
Asked to leave.
It was raining.
Okay.
So he was trying to get out of the rain.
Well, there are people arguing.
And there was no rule or no law that he could not be under the tent. He was raining.
There are whispers that he was not even participating that day. I haven't seen it confirmed. I don't want to get into it. That's why he was not with his team. Obviously, he had gotten into a very violent incident 2 months before.
Obviously, or that's whispering also.
No, that's been reported.
Because there's no facts that he was suspended from school.
Right. Well,
there's no facts that he had been charged by law enforcement in a previous incident. Well, but the facts we do know is he sat under tent, and legally he was not breaking any laws by the school district or any legal law of Texas. We do know the father's behavior now. Okay. What was the purpose of Metcalf's father going to that press conference? To intimidate the Carmelo Anthony family? That sounds like the behavior of his son on that day when they tried to intimidate Carmelo Anthony to move from under that tent. That seems like bully behavior, going to that press conference to do what? Carmelo Anthony has been charged with the murder of your son. It's in the courts. The police are investigating. What was your motivation, sir, for going to that press conference?
Thank you.
Was it to intimidate?
Well, thank you for bringing that up, right? So you're spewing lies about a dead kid right now. There's no evidence of bullying by Austin Metcalf. There's no evidence that even Anthony's own story doesn't come across as bullying. He was asked to leave. He didn't want to leave. Now, whether or not, we don't know.
He was threatened to leave, not just asked. He was threatened.
That's the lie, right? There's no evidence that he threatened him. None at all. In fact, the evidence of all the eyewitness statements, even Anthony's statement doesn't mention a threat. It mentions
that's not true. Anthony's statement does indicate that he was threatened when he says to Mr. Metcalf, "Touch me and see." He wouldn't say touch me and see if Mr. Metcalf had not been threatening him first. And remember, why was it Mr. Metcalf's responsibility to move anybody on that day? That's not his job. So if he's not supposed to be there and he refused to move, go get a teacher. Go get an administrator.
We all wish that he did.
I wish both boards had done something different that day.
But no one imagined that you had a guy like Carmelo Anthony who was just looking for an excuse to murder someone.
Oh, come on, Charles.
But we've had all these stories about the Metcalf father being a bad guy because he went to a press conference. This was a whole show put on to try to convince the jury pool of Collin County that this kid was innocent. You talk about,
the majority of people in Collin County are white people. That's a white county. That's not a black county.
The mother's crying, right? On the same day of her tear jerk fest, crocodile tears, in my opinion. You had the Metcalf family got swatted, both the mother's house and the father's home. Police were called there under false pretenses and said there was something violent going on, seeking to cause actual violence to those families. Those families have had to endure 2 weeks.
And that's wrong. That's pathetically wrong.
2 weeks of activists, in fact, you and other activists calling the Hunter and Austin Metcalf bullies, calling them racist, calling them all kind of crazy stuff. This is a dead kid and his twin brother.
Mr. Metcalf has had white activists also. He's had white activists calling Carmelo Anthony a scumbag, deserves life in prison, deserves to be executed, calling for white people to stand up and fight back against black people and black attacks. Even had a white activist to lead a White Lives Matter protest right there in Frisco, Texas.
And you're right.
So let's not pretend that it's just black activists. It's white activists too.
Do we have the clip of the dad of Hunter Metcalf's, or Austin Metcalf's dad, speaking to the white activist? Matt, can we play that?
This country is wrong. Why can't you stand that and say with that? Maybe you can. Would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today.
Are you done?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the problem, my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap. I do not condone anything you do. You do not have any.
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk.
My son, let me finish. I gave you your time. You take my son's face off your website. I am not associated with you.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir. You are creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness.
You are being weak. I gotta be honest with you about that, sir.
You're being weak. Condemn your son's killer and the culture that caused it.
Hey, Jeff.
That's the problem. You've been submitted.
All right, that was Jeff Metcalf on the phone talking to, and I will agree, an absolute white race grifter, right? The mirror image of Dominique Alexander, who represents the family of Carmelo Anthony. Big key difference, right? Jeff Metcalf says, take my son down and picture down. You're making it worse. The Metcalf family has condemned the white race grifters and told them to shut up and stop using their son's name and their son's image to promote their hateful grift. Whereas the Anthony family has swaddled themselves with this Dominique Alexander guy who has a criminal history so horrifying, it would make anyone cringe, right? I can't imagine that your network would ever have anything to do, Quanell, with this Dominique Alexander guy. He like shook a baby and caused brain damage. It's crime after crime after crime. And he is using everything he can to condemn the Metcalf family. And that's the difference. The Metcalf family is rejecting the bigotry and the white racists, whereas the Anthony family raised a murderer. The grandmother put a picture of him out of jail with a bunch of hearts, and they're treating him like a hero.
What's wrong with a grandmother being happy that her son has been released from jail? Nothing wrong with that. Two.
That's enabling.
Two. The activists involved in Mr. Alexander in the Frisco area, the Dallas County area, he has said some things that may be very well problematic for the family long term. But I would be wrong to say that because the man had a criminal history in the past, that God can't redeem him and clean him up and make him a productive citizen for his own community, for his own people. Hell, we sit here and we applauding and celebrating a man in the White House with 34 felony convictions. And so if we're letting the man be in the White House and millions of white folks applauding him, we're supposed to take a young black man who's had a troubled past in the past and throw him away and say he's no good because he got some convictions on his record? Well, hell, he ain't got more than Donald Trump. So why should we just throw our brother away? If God wants to redeem that brother, clean him up and make him productive, let's give that brother the fast-shaking opportunity to do so the same way that millions of white people in America are giving for Donald Trump.
Well, there's a huge difference between crimes that were basically invented to prosecute Donald Trump.
What about the lawsuits that Mr. Trump lost? And the lawsuit where he's sexually assaulted women and abused women.
Again, I'm not here to defend Donald Trump, but there is a huge difference between everything he was accused of, right? Some paperwork issues and a 40-year-old or 30-year-old
And the lawsuit also that he lost for $150 million.
But hold on. And shaking a baby so hard that you cause the baby brain damage and change the course of their life, and then commit assault and crime after crime. That goes up until very recently with Dominique Alexander. But we have a clip of this genius, race grifter hustler in Dallas. Do we have this clip where he's explaining why Anthony it was okay for Anthony to murder this unarmed poor Austin Metcalf, Matt?
Why didn't you cancel or postpone with weather in that magnitude?
You couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research. Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Carmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. How many of y'all?
Now there you go. Oh, so it's the school district's fault for having a track meet when there's drizzle rain. That's what caused the murder. It's the school district's fault for saying, "Hey, someone that brought a deadly weapon onto campus and killed someone, we're gonna expel him." It's the same when I mentioned the grandmother putting up the heart emoji, the loving, adoring picture up. It's about enabling, and it's about pointing the finger of blame elsewhere instead of saying, "Hey, look, you can't stab someone in the heart because they asked you to leave somewhere, and even if they shoved you or punched you." It's all about enabling, and it's a problem with America. It's not a black problem or a white problem. It's an American problem.
Let me say this to Mr. Alexander. Dear brother, love your brother, and I pray that Allah will use you and resurrect whatever you were in the past, and you're not that today. But brother, your analogy of how Frisco ISD should have handled the situation is terrible. Because if you know anything about sporting events in Texas, they don't cancel because of rain, they don't cancel because of clouds, and they don't cancel because no matter how hard the rain is pouring down, they will delay. You understand, dear brother? And they will only cancel if there's consecutive lightning strikes and you cannot participate then. Now put that part to the side. Secondly, dear brother, it is a state of Texas policy in Texas, in school districts, that if a student is charged with a certain felony, that they are removed from the district pending the outcome of that case. So Frisco ISD did follow policy in that context of removing him from the district. Nothing they can do about that. That's just policy, period, in the state of Texas in school districts if you've been charged with a felony. So understand that in context, brother. But it doesn't help our brother to talk about Frisco ISD as bearing some of the blame for not ending the track meet. This had nothing to do with the weather. This was solely about Carmelo Anthony defending himself, which I believe that he did.
From what?
He was the victim of an assault.
From what?
He was first terroristically threatened.
How?
And he was the victim of an assault. And what people are not saying is Carmelo Anthony is 135 pounds at the max soaking wet. And Metcalf is 220 pounds.
Hold on.
Now you got two brothers, two twin brothers over 200-some pounds going up to a 130-pound little boy, threatening him to move. And that young man didn't start the confrontation. He didn't pursue a confrontation. And it's not a threat if you tell somebody, if you put your hands on me, what I'm going to do. That's self-defense.
If you look at the eyewitness testimony, that originally, I know you have this whole fiction where Austin Metcalf bullied and threatened him. No one has said any threats that came out of Austin's mouth.
The black father who was there with his daughters, who witnessed the entire incident and who didn't want to go public. He didn't want to go public, but I wish we had his video. He spoke about it from beginning to end, what he saw and what he witnessed. And he was the first one to say to the public, it was raining so hard. That's why the young man probably went under the tent. It was him that first put that out there. He was there with his daughters. But he admit that Carmelo Anthony wasn't harassing anybody, wasn't trying to intimidate anybody. He witnessed the brothers go over there to him. He witnessed the argument. And so he said that Carmelo was not the aggressor.
What is it that Austin is alleged to have said that was a threat?
Terroristically threatened the young man about if he did not move.
What specifically?
Trying to force him to make him move. And he did not have to move.
What specifically did Austin say?
Now let's talk about what he did. He put his hands on it.
Okay.
You can't do that, Charles.
Oh, okay.
Charles, you got a right to self-defense. If somebody make a threat, then put their hands on you in aggressive manner. That's felonious assault.
America.
He was assaulted.
How is it a felony?
I didn't say that. I said felonious assault.
How is it a felony?
They put their hands on him, Charles. That young man, Mr. Metcalf did. He put his hands on him. Both of them threatened him and tried to intimidate him. But that little boy's 130 pounds. The Metcalf's over 220 pounds.
Hold on. There is no one saying, including Carmelo Anthony, that he was threatened with physical violence. There is no one saying that.
That is not true.
There is no one saying,
Carmelo Anthony
I let
told
you talk.
him, put your hands on me.
And watch what happened.
There is no one saying, yeah, that's what Anthony said. There is no one saying that that was there, including Carmelo Anthony, that Austin Metcalf punched him. There is no one saying that Hunter Metcalf, anyone there, any of the eyewitnesses have given actual statements.
Not according to their father, who was right there.
This make-believe
he
father.
gave a statement too. He gave one too.
Well, it ain't been released.
The next day, he gave a statement too.
The next day.
He did.
Okay.
And he was there with his daughters, and they confirmed that he was there with his daughters.
So
he had video showing that he was there.
There is no evidence that Hunter Metcalf did anything wrong, and yet y'all sit here on TV, right, and condemn him over and over again. You personally have called them both racist. There's no evidence that they have
I didn't
said,
say they both was racist.
Do you think they're racist?
This is what I believe. They're bullies. I believe he was a bully.
Why?
Because you trying to make a kid move that did not legally have the right to move. He was legally sitting there fine. He wasn't bothering nobody. And who in the hell are you? What the hell are you as a young man to tell another kid what you can and cannot do?
If a kid came and sat down in your dugout,
you can't put your hands on that kid.
And everyone excusing it is disgusting.
Why are you excusing the young man assaulting Carmelo?
I'm not. But
So he committed a crime.
But what you can't
Did
do
he commit a
is you
crime?
can't
Put his hands on
stab
him.
someone to death
Did
for shoving you.
Metcalf commit a crime? Put his
Because
hands
if you
on him.
can stab someone to death for shoving you or punching you, there'll be a lot more people getting killed in America. And it's not going to be white,
put his
straight-A
hands
students.
on that kid, Charles. We were sitting here having this conversation.
We wouldn't have a murder, I guess. And that's Anthony was there looking for an excuse to murder.
And one thing we've learned in America, white folks call justifiable homicide all the time when black men do it.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, besties!
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time!
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
Like it's a spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first-round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's a polarizing case, but if you take everything that is being said by Carmelo Anthony as true, he still doesn't have the right to use deadly force to kill Austin Metcalf in the state of Texas. If you take everything the liars are saying, the punch, the racism, the bullying as true, you still don't have a right to stab this kid to death in Texas.
I really wish that this case had never happened, but we must teach our children that you cannot put your hands on anybody because you disagree with them. Our children have a right to self-defense in this country like other people's children do also. I just want to see the double standard no longer exists. Treat us the same way that you treated historically others who do the same thing.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, besties!
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Hey, besties!
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time!
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
Like it's a spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Thank you for joining us tonight. The death of teen Austin Metcalf continues to be a focal point in some conversations about race relations in America. As we've reported here on The Factor, the teen died after being stabbed at a track meet in Frisco earlier this month. The suspect, Carmelo Anthony, who is black, has been moved from his home to an undisclosed location after his family received threats and was harassed over the weekend. This also comes as protests organized by a group called Protect White Americans happened in Frisco Saturday. During the rally, founder Jake Long called Austin's father, Jeff Metcalf, asking for him to stand with the group.